IVM.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Musafir Stories, India's very own travel podcast, where each week we share the journey of travelers in their own words and relive their experiences with you, our listeners.
Hi guys, I'm your host Faiza and our guest traveler today is Neeharika, who blogs under the handle Map in My Pocket. So sit back and enjoy as we find out where Neeharika is taking us today. With that introduction, I would love to welcome Neeharika Satyavada to the show. Hi Neeharika, welcome to the Musafir Stories.
Hi Faiza, thank you so much for having me on.
Pleasure is all ours. How are you, Neeharika?
I've been good and trust you're good too.
Yes. And please tell us, how did the traveling bug bite you and since when have you been traveling?
Well, I've always been traveling with my parents, but it was more like road trips to temples. So in my first travel, so to say, a big experience was in 2013 when I went to Spiti with my best friend.
Oh wow.
Because I really wanted to travel on my own. But I'm this only child who's always been cocooned and not allowed to go anywhere. So that's how I had to drag my best friend in. And then I finally got the permission to travel and that was my life-changing trip.
Oh,
so the first time in the Himalayas. But yes, the blog didn't come then. It came 2 years later. Meanwhile, I traveled a little more. I did my MBA.
Okay.
So I did my MBA so that I could travel. Another thing. So I lived in 3 places during my MBA.
Oh, wow.
So I lived in Singapore, I lived in Dubai, and I lived in Sydney.
Oh my god, amazing.
Then I came back and it just happened that I got into digital marketing. So my campus placement was, and then I had started a blog for the company that I was working for.
Okay.
And it was a camera, like a photography camera specialty store.
Oh wow, okay.
So it was like all my interests had come together even in my job.
I know.
So when I was running a photography blog for them, I thought, why not start my own? And I had anyway been traveling for some time and clicking pictures.
Right.
So that's how Map in My Pocket started in 2015.
That's amazing. So it's like nature putting everything together and telling you, okay, you start a blog now.
Yes, I guess. Because there was a time before my trip to the Himalayas where I was trying to do a lot of things, trying to figure out the usual,
Right.
Put your job in. And then I couldn't figure out anything. But yes, I guess I eventually found my calling, so to say.
That's amazing. We're really happy for you. And your blog also has been amazing. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Neeharika, following the tradition at the Musafir Stories where our guests take our listeners to a destination. So where are you going to take us today?
I'm going to take you road tripping to Karimnagar.
Oh, wow, that's nice. Okay.
So this is a district in Telangana. It's 3 hours from Hyderabad, 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
Not many people think of it as a tourist destination. People hardly know about it, which is why I think we should go there today.
Wow, amazing. Okay, we are all yours. Please take us.
Okay.
So how did you guys drive all the way from Hyderabad?
Yeah, we drove down in the car. I went for a day, but ideally this trip should be done over the weekend for 2 days because I left around 5:30 and I rushed through quite a few places. Okay. So instead of that, I would recommend pace it, do it around over the weekend. Karimnagar is a good enough town, so there are quite a few hotels there. One can stay there.
Okay.
The government resorts are not in the Karimnagar town; they are in the nearby towns. Okay. Basically temple town. So there is one place called Vemulawada, which is not covered in today's itinerary.
Okay.
But the government resort is there. They're all like an hour's drive or half an hour's drive.
Okay.
But I would recommend that you stay in the Karimnagar town itself because even we were going there for breakfast and lunch on our way and it's located centrally to all the points.
Okay, great. And what time of the year did you travel? What's the best time to travel?
I was there in the monsoons. I loved it because you get beautiful pictures with the clouds and the greenery.
I know.
But you can also go there in the winter. That way, you will go to all the places because the rains won't play mischief. So I would recommend winter.
Okay.
And Hyderabad, Telangana is quite hot. So a road trip in summer gets difficult.
I know.
So not advisable.
I remember my first actually my first trip to Hyderabad was in summers. It was so terrible. I was a kid somewhere around 7th standard, I think. We kept vomiting the entire day, and because it was so hot back then, and my parents were just supplying us with liquids, and they were like, okay, fine, we can't go out anywhere because these girls are just puking. Yeah,
it's crazy now. It's at least it was pleasanter when I was a kid growing up in Hyderabad. Now it's very hot.
Global warming.
True that.
It's great. So you guys have eaten yummy breakfast. Which was your first stop?
First stop was actually we reached Karimnagar way before 9.
Okay.
So the first stop was Molangur Fort. There's not much to see there, Molangur, and it's a pretty okay place. The problem is there's a lot of quarrying going on there. So everything is in ruins. The fort is there. It's like a hillock. It's a huge fort, but it's all crumbled. So you'll just see, you won't be able to go anywhere, but you can see it from the fort wall down.
Okay.
So if interested, you can go here, or you can even skip this place.
And is there anything that the government is doing to preserve it? Because since the quarrying and all this going on,
this fort is quite neglected, and the government also doesn't talk about it. And it was built during the reign of Prathapa Rudra of the Kakatiya dynasty. So in this district, it's very old. In this district of Karimnagar, you will see a combination of Islam, Buddhism and Hinduism. It was built on a granite hill, which is probably why no one is doing anything about it.
Oh, that's sad, huh? I mean, it sometimes feels bad that because of our greed now, that we go ahead and destroy something that has so much historical significance.
So true. Yeah. And most of these places have mosques and temples everywhere. So that's probably the only area in this entire crumble where you'll see some people, the locals still coming there.
Okay. I really hope the government does something, because I think if I'm not wrong, Prathapa Rudra means it would be around like the 12th or 11th century.
Correct, right?
Yeah. So that's quite old.
And it's actually on the Archaeological Department's protected sites list. But you see it and there's nothing really
happening.
Yeah.
And what about the entry fee? Is there any entry fee here?
There's nothing there. There's no
nothing
people, nothing. There's no gate, nothing. There's just an archway. So, and Google Maps will lead you right there.
Okay.
And from there, you see all boulders and hillocks and crumbled ruins. That's it.
Okay.
So it is nice to see.
Right.
But there's not much to explore. You can't climb and go somewhere.
Okay.
And see more. Yeah.
That's great. I think it would be pretty for pictures, I think, when you've got perfect ruins around.
That is true.
Yeah.
And there is something about these old places, when there's nobody around and you find a place and you're exploring and you see something, and then, then it's up to you where you go. You can imagine how, the royals lived, or what history the place has seen. So that way it is fun.
Perfect. Because you won't believe it, so many times when we end up going to all these forts and these ruins, all you think is that how it would have looked back then with the decorations and the flowers and the diyas and people standing there with as a guard and everything. So
I know. Yeah. It's quite fascinating. Even in Rajasthan, when you see inside the fort, there are passageways for the ladies to go by.
Oh, wow.
And apparently the ladies dressed so grand and the jewelry weighed so many kilos they couldn't walk, which is why they had to make those passages in the fort so that they could be carried on their palanquins, like that.
Oh, Lord. That's interesting.
So I would suggest if you go to this fort first, then come back to Karimnagar, have breakfast, and then head to Elgandal, because Elgandal will take a while.
Okay.
You need to climb, say, around 200-300 steps. You basically need to climb up a small hillock.
Okay.
And the fort is right on top of the hill, which is why it looks like it's on the verge of a cliff.
Oh, wow.
If you see, how I found this fort in the first place was, I was looking up for places where I could drive to from Hyderabad, and nothing was interesting. Then I saw this photo of these 3 spires, jutting out into the sky and nothing behind. And it looked like it was on the cliff.
Oh, wow.
And that quite caught my fancy. So that's how I got there. So here there is a proper entrance and a moat and a security guard. So it's I think it's the government's intention to develop this as a tourism spot.
Okay, that's
because
good.
they have granted some funds for this.
Okay.
But nothing has been done yet.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But as long as they are trying their best to preserve it, I think.
Yes, and the locals do come here. So if you go on the weekend, you will see not too much of a crowd, but there are people.
Okay, that's good. And one doubt,
Yes.
one would park down and climb up the stairs, but for someone who is elderly or kids, is there any option where there are these buses that go to the fort or anything? Or
no, nothing. It's just steps which have been hewn into the rock, to say.
Okay.
But downstairs, even just down the hill, it's a gradual increase. So the fort has been built from the ground.
Okay.
So there are quite a few places down. In fact, there were quite a local families, a lot of them sitting down on the lawns and having their picnic.
All right. Instead of going to the actual fort on top.
Yeah, so you can explore. There are arches and smaller buildings around.
Right.
But if you want to see the mosque, which is what these Teen Minar is about, then you'll have to climb right to the top.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's good down also.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so please tell us. So you're climbing, you've reached the arch. How is it?
Oh, it's beautiful. So you have to clamber on some boulders. And yes, it's not for the elderly.
Okay.
Because the steps end and then there are these boulders and you have to figure out, because they lead you. One leads you to the entrance of the mosque down, which looks like it's on the edge.
Okay.
And if you clamber up the boulders in the other direction, you reach the minars.
Okay.
And the interesting fact about this is it's called the Teen Minar.
Okay.
And apparently these minars shake.
Oh.
Or oscillate. Of course, I didn't try it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what they say.
Oh my God, okay.
The importance of this is Elgandal was once the capital till it moved the capital to Karimnagar, and so the Islamic influence.
Okay.
And on the way, when you go towards this fort, just a few meters on the road, you will see something like Charminar. It's just smaller.
Oh, okay.
So it was apparently like a miniature or a replica of Charminar.
Okay.
Yeah, but nobody talks about it. In fact, I myself didn't know it. I saw it and I remarked it looks so much like this. And then I went back and I googled it, and then it says it's supposed to be like the Charminar itself.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
So that was one other thing.
And how's the view from the fort? I mean, if it's on the cliff, I think you would be seeing this around. Yeah.
True, it's beautiful. So on the one side, you see all these houses with, the orange roofs and the brick roofs. And the other side is the river Godavari. So while you're climbing too, the view is beautiful because you keep seeing the river in the distance. There's the Maner Dam.
Okay.
So one can even go to the dam.
Right. That would be fun for kids. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So even the climb was very nice. And along the way on the steps, that's the beauty about India, So along the way, there is a Hanuman temple.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
I think people still go there because that area of the steps is cleared and the Hanuman is just carved into the rocks, has the orange color and all.
Okay, so the puja happens there.
Yeah, it happens.
Okay, that's great,
So, like I said, so there is a combination, there's diversity here.
Right, absolutely. There's a mosque right there and a temple as well.
Okay. Yeah, true. So
this is amazing.
This might take you 2 hours because if you're climbing up and you must sit down, if you want to carry your picnic lunch, you can have your lunch here, then anything. Here is where you can spend most time.
Okay, great. And you did mention that this was controlled by 5 dynasties as well?
Yes. It was the capital of Telangana once, like I was saying. And it has passed through the Kakatiyas, the Bahmanis, Qutub Shahis, Mughals, and the Asafjais. Asafjais are the
Nizam.
Nizams, right. Okay. And Bahmanis ruled over Karnataka and Hyderabad, and where the Bidri work comes from and all of that.
Exactly, yeah.
This is probably why you see a little bit of the Persian influence also in the architecture. And if you notice the mosque, it's really beautiful.
That's beautiful. I think you need to head over to your pictures as well because your blog has beautiful pictures.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Do check out my pictures.
Yes, definitely. So we would be adding a link to Neeharika's blog down in the show notes, so you guys can directly go and head there and check out her beautiful pictures and her story as well.
Okay.
So Neeharika, what about the timings? Are there any particular timings for the fort?
Not really, but ideally say 9 because most of the monuments here open at 9.
Right. Okay.
So between 9 to 5. And because it's a climb, I would say don't stay there after dark or near dark.
Right.
So you should leave by around 5. Leave from there by 5.
Yeah, okay, that's a perfect advice.
Because it's not a very crowded place either. So
That's true. But the condition of the fort overall has been good compared to...
yes, it is good. And the steps are good.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's great.
True.
Yeah. So that's a nice fort. Beautiful view also, I think, because the river on one side, you're climbing on the other. And
true. In fact, this is the photo that got me my first award.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. So what next did you guys do?
So next in Karimnagar, if you're staying, because you'll be staying for the weekend.
Right.
And Karimnagar, in fact, is known for the silver filigree work.
Okay.
It has got the GI tag also for it. All these... I'm sure you must have seen these miniatures of Charminar and peacocks which people used to gift long ago.
Right.
Now they've gone out of fashion. Yeah, all that is silver filigree work, which is done here in Karimnagar. So you can maybe shop a little, see how it is done.
Right. And do we need to bargain a lot? How is it?
No, not really, because I believe with the artisans, anyway, they don't get so many tourists, so they don't quote prices like, prices which are typically for foreigners, say, if you're going to a more popular place.
That's true. And I think they've put in so much effort and all that, so you would feel a little bad to bargain sometimes.
Correct. Yeah. True, yes.
Yeah. Because that's what happens. I mean, I'm not talking about the touristy places where they're like a normal thing, which I'm so sure like you as a localite would know. You would get it for some 200 rupees and they would tell you 1,800.
Yeah, correct.
Stuff like that I understand. But I think when an artist puts in his or her effort, you really don't feel like bargaining as well. You would just be like, okay, fine, take it. Because
that is true. And in fact, in these places, they're so happy that someone is at least visiting, showing interest.
Okay.
So they do get chatty and tell you, how it's done. And they're very friendly people. So
then I bet they would have a lot of stories also to tell. So it would be quite nice to listen from them.
Yes, that is a good way also to spend.
That's great. Okay.
So then after this, we'll head to some temples now.
Yes, please.
Now that we're done with forts.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is Mantini. This one is very popular. Now it's become touristy.
Okay. I think I have to confess that of all your pictures, I absolutely love the Mantini ruins.
Oh, okay.
Please,
the temple is very beautiful. But I was not very happy here because I don't know, there is some of the locals, at least in Telangana, there's this tradition where they go to a temple, they make their food there, so they make non-veg, and with the non-veg they have alcohol.
That's bad.
Yeah,
okay.
That was the only thing which is like a little sad about the place, but otherwise it's a beautiful place. Again, there is the river on the banks, and this beautiful old temple, and you can notice these numbers. So here work is going on right now and they're putting it back. Okay, and all these temples didn't have any cement to glue them together. It was just, these rocks and sculptures put together.
Wow.
So they have numbers on each individual rock and now they're putting it, it's beautiful.
Okay.
And just adjacent to it, there's a regular temple which is functioning. So people do come there and it's quite popular.
Okay. That's great.
Then there are quite a few locals, parking areas and because there's water.
Great.
So, a lot of people come here.
That's nice.
It's a little away from the main town, but you can ask anybody and they'll know. And besides, Google Maps might be difficult because it just shows that it's somewhere on the banks of Godavari, So it doesn't reach till the end, but because it's popular, people can direct you there. It's not an issue at all.
Okay, great. And I have to add about the ruins. The pictures are so beautiful. They reminded me of Jungle Book's Mowgli. Oh my God.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is a beautiful place.
It is because it perfectly looks like that last scenes of Jungle Book where Mowgli is gone and the ape is there and it's all like the old temple.
Yeah, where the rocks fall, right?
Exactly.
Because even those rocks were the stones. It's so true.
Yeah, and your pictures are so perfect and so green and so like the
I think it's because I just happened to be there in the monsoon.
Oh, amazing.
And in fact, this Mantini is popular because it was apparently the center for learning for the Hindus, like thousands of years ago. So Mantini means Mantrapuri. I mean, it's come from Mantrapuri. So it's a town of hymns. And it has many names. It's also called Sahasra Brahmana Gadapa. So it's like 1,000 Brahmins used to live there. It was the center for Vedic learning.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot of history.
Yeah. So it can be translated to House of Mantras, if you want.
Wow.
Sound like that.
That sounds nice. And what about temples? Any particular temple dedicated for a god, or how are the temples there?
Here it's like you can see sculptures of goddess Durga, and also most of them are defaced. Like if you see the pictures, you can only make out which god it is from what they're holding, because the faces are all gone.
Oh, that's bad. Okay.
There's a huge Shiva statue, but it's near the bank because it's the Godavari. That's also one of the holy rivers for the Hindus in the south.
Right. That's nice. So where next did you guys stop?
Next is also a temple which is similar to this, but it is quite a distance from Mantani.
Okay.
And this again is, people don't know about it. So in fact, when we had reached there, you have to Google for the village and not the temple.
Okay.
Because it's somewhere inside. It's a very small village.
Okay, what is it called?
It's called Nagnur.
Nagnur, okay.
Nagnur is the village. So you can just Google it and get there. And you have to ask the locals, because you enter the village and you have to go straight into it. And right at the heart of the village is this old temple there.
All right. Okay.
It's functioning. There's a pujari who comes in the evening and everything is happening.
Okay. Great.
So it's a beautiful place. But yes, the locals themselves are surprised that people are asking for it and coming for it. So because it's not a very popular one.
Okay. Is it quite an old temple as well?
It's a very old temple. It must be as old as the Mantani temple.
Wow.
Because the style of architecture, the rocks used, everything is the same.
Okay.
It's from at least as far back as the 12th century.
Wow.
Because it was built by the Chalukyas.
Okay.
So,
okay. And nice. I mean, it's a functional temple and people have preserved it well. So that's even beautiful.
In fact, if you look up online, it says it's a fort and a temple complex. You can see buildings of similar stone in the distance on the hillocks and all.
Okay.
It's a proper village. And this one temple is very beautiful. So you go in and you have huge Shivalingam on all three sides except for the entrance.
Okay.
Which is why it's called the Trikuta temple. So 3 Shivalingas inside.
Oh wow, okay. Trikuta.
And worship happens in all 3 of them.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a perfect temple for all the Shiva devotees as well.
Oh, yes, and it's also beautiful. So both ways. Very beautiful temple.
Nice.
And they're restoring even this as well.
Oh great, okay.
If you see the pictures, you'll see it looks a little shaky, but it's not. And you see numbers on the stones, just like Mantani.
Right. Yeah. So the work is going on to preserve it.
Yes, to put it back in place.
Okay, that's good.
Right opposite, there are some other buildings, but they look abandoned. So that's probably where the fort was.
Okay, nice.
Not
and how
much
far of it is a drive from Mantani?
From Mantani, it will take an hour.
Oh wow, okay, that's quite.
So everything here will only take an hour between each place.
Okay.
Or maybe 2 hours, but less than that. And then, because it's all spread out in the same area, coming back again from wherever you are will not take more than 2.5 hours to Hyderabad.
Oh, to Hyderabad, okay.
Yeah, and 1 hour to Karimnagar. So everything is in that distance.
Okay. And what about food and all that? You guys kept heading back to Karimnagar itself?
Yes, so Mantani and Nagnur, you can maybe do it together because you won't find food, not in Nagnur, but in Mantani, yes.
Okay.
But even that's a little tricky because not many options there.
That's true. Okay.
Because the locals get their food, it's like a picnic spot for them.
Okay.
The chances
better to head over to Karimnagar itself.
Yes, true. So if you're anyway staying in Karimnagar, then eat and then go visit these 2 temples and come back.
Right. Perfect. That's nice. So is there any other place, Neeharika and Karimnagar, that you guys missed out, or maybe?
Yeah, the last one. That's the Buddhist site.
Oh, wow.
So
that's nice. So we've covered temples, we've covered mosques, and Buddhist shrine as well.
Yeah, so all 3.
Nice. Please go ahead, tell us. Yeah.
This is quite popular. Popular in the sense nobody goes there, but at least the tourism department's attention is on it. So you hear about it, like Elgandal, Mantani, and then Dulikatta, you hear about it.
Okay, good.
But there's no road to get there. You have to walk along the fields.
Oh wow, okay.
Which is why I say it's not,
perfect
you
for
know
monsoons,
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect for monsoons, yes.
Oh. So, I mean, is it a functional shrine as well?
No, it's actually a stupa, so it's a relic. There's the sculpture of a Buddha and relics, right? Where the original, So it's like a ground spread out vast, and that's it. So you have these old excavations which have come out and things like that.
Okay. That's nice. But then, are there many people who end up going there, or is it? I mean, since we do not have a road as well.
So not the typical touristy people. Yes, people know about it.
Okay.
So you reach there. So the map will take you to where the fields are, but the locals know about it. It is quite a known place.
Okay.
Only someone who's interested in exploring and maybe doing this every weekend.
Right.
Those are the kinds of people you'll see over there.
Okay.
Not the regular crowd. So
that's nice. Wow. That's quite nice. Karimnagar has a lot to offer, I think, then.
Yes. So over the weekend would be just about right. 2 days. Yeah.
Right. So in that way you would get to spend perfect time at all these places and enjoy the beauty as well.
Yeah. And not rush.
I know that.
And you can always head back to Hyderabad on the Sunday evening. Because there is the ORR and the NH44.
Okay.
So from the ORR, it just takes you, if there's no traffic, an hour and a half.
Oh wow.
But,
okay.
Yeah. So coming back, because it's the evening, it might. So
the traffic
2.5 hours
piles up in the evening. Yeah.
True. So it's almost like your daily commute. Not more than that.
Right. Okay. I love the way you put it. So 2.5 hours is your daily commute.
Yeah, at least it's more interesting. Traveling in the city for 2 hours is a pain.
True. That's so true. I can so agree with that because I go through that every day. 2.5 hours one way. Just 2 hours.
It's commendable, really.
So one last question, Neeharika. Of all the places that you've been in Karimnagar, which was the spot that just pops out in your head when I just say Karimnagar and you get that wow Karimnagar moment?
I don't know, for me it's the Elgandal Fort, but that's maybe because of the photo.
Right.
But otherwise it's the temples, the Nagnur and the Mantani temples, like you said, straight out of Jungle Book.
I know.
They're more beautiful, hands down.
Yes. But the fort got you there, so...
maybe because I got my picture there, it's selfish.
And a beautiful picture as well, so it's commendable. So thank you so much, Neeharika, for being a perfect guide and taking us on this beautiful road trip and showing us a destination that is not much explored, and people have to know about these places because they have so much history to offer, and I think the government needs to do something.
Yeah, amen to that. They have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as citizens we need to do our part as well to keep these
write about clean. It, talk about it, like Musafir Stories is doing. Spread the word.
Thank you. And thank you so much for taking us there.
Thank you. It was great being on the show. For me to talk about like this and, revisit and relive my journey.
Thank you, Neeharika. Thank you so much.
That was yet another great episode of the Musafir Stories. If you guys like the show, please subscribe to us on iTunes, Audioboom, Savan, Stitcher, Pocket Radio, or any other podcasting app that's available on iOS or Android. You could also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We go by the handle The Musafir Stories. Or, if it suits you, you could email us at themusafirstories@gmail.com and visit our website www.themusafirstories.com for more information. All of these links will be made available in the show notes section of the podcast. So here's to more traveling, sharing, and inspiring. Stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, happy travels and goodbye.